The year was 1957. India, freshly independent, was grappling with economic challenges. The government had established the Life Insurance Corporation of India, or LIC, in 1956 to nationalize the insurance industry and safeguard the interests of the policyholders. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, India was laying the foundations for a mixed economy, combining the dynamism of private enterprise with the oversight of state institutions. This period of nation building was critical, but it also opened the door to potential abuses of power. Haridas Mundhra was a nobody from nowhere but had a very agile mind. He had a meteoric rise and built a network of companies within a matter of years in the 1950s, using his contacts in the Congress party and in the top echelons of the government. He was a corporate raider of the 1950s. Mundhra would manipulate the stock market to acquire control of British companies vulnerable for takeovers and then use the cash reserves of these companies to buy out the next company, bankrupting them one after the other. When his Ponzi scheme was running out, he looped in Congress bigwigs and the LIC to buy out his shares in companies he had already sucked dry. Mundhra's scheme involved the purchase of shares in 6 companies worth over 1.26 crores by the LIC. These companies were either financially unstable or non-existent. The transactions were done without the proper authorization, violating standard procedures and exposing the LIC to substantial financial risk. Besides, the shares had not been purchased in the open market but in a private transaction. Even worse, the shares had changed hands on the day when both the Bombay and the Calcutta stock exchanges were closed. It turned out that the finance ministry and LIC officials had met with Mundhra in a Delhi hotel on a Sunday to hurriedly finalize the deal. Mundhra artificially hiked the prices of his shares by 30 to 40% once he was assured that the LIC would invest in his companies.
देश के प्रतिष्ठित समाचार पत्र द स्टेट्समैन ने एक सनसनीखेज खुलासा किया है। रिपोर्ट के अनुसार जीवन बीमा निगम ने श्री हरिदास मुंडड़ा द्वारा संचालित 6 घाटे में चल रही कंपनियों में 1,26,00,000 रुपए का निवेश किया है। इस खुलासे से राजनीतिक हलचल तेज हो गई है। विपक्ष ने इस पूरे मामले की निष्पक्ष जांच की मांग की है और संसद में सरकार से जवाब तलब किया है। इस घोटाले ने स्वतंत्र भारत की नवगठित वित्तीय व्यवस्था को एक बड़ी चुनौती दे दी है।
The scandal came to light when the Statesman on August 3, 1957, carried a report on the LIC's investments in Mundhra's companies. The matter perhaps wouldn't have generated so much heat had 2 enterprising Congress MPs, first Dr. Ram Subhag Singh and later Firoz Gandhi, not taken up the issue with the zeal of a crusader against what they felt was a brazen case of corruption. On September 4, 1957, Ram Subhag Singh's question on the LIC's investment in the Mundhra firms came up in the Lok Sabha. It was an unstarred question which is asked and answered only in writing and no supplementary questions are allowed. The minister was intentionally vague in his response. Firoz Gandhi charged the Principal Finance Secretary H.M. Patel and Finance Minister T.T. Krishnamachari of pressurizing LIC's investment.
Mr. Speaker, this is a clear case of financial misconduct and the people of India deserve answers.
He also claimed that he had possession of confidential letters between Mr. Patel and Mr. Krishnamachari regarding this investment. There was a well-known rift between Mr. Gandhi and his father-in-law PM Nehru, which sensationalized the matter. Firoz Gandhi's revelation sent shockwaves through the political establishment. The evidence he presented was damning, and it became clear that a thorough investigation was necessary to restore public confidence. Nehru didn't want to believe Firoz, but he had little or no choice. Firoz had the skill of a consummate investigative journalist to collect and analyze facts. His debating skills were extraordinary, and he was brutal and unsparing when he questioned people in power, including his father-in-law. So convincing was Gandhi's arguments that Nehru, while praising the majesty of Parliament, ordered a commission of inquiry headed by eminent jurist M.C. Chagla into the Mundhra affair. Justice Chagla was known for his integrity and judicial acumen. His appointment to lead the investigation was a clear signal that the government was committed to uncovering the truth and holding those responsible accountable. After a meticulous investigation, Justice Chagla released his report in just 24 days. The findings nailed the alleged lies of the finance minister and exposed the politics-business nexus at the highest levels in the government. The Commission's report noted that constitutionally the minister was responsible for the action of his secretary with regard to the LIC transactions. It also noted that Krishnamachari, who was earlier Union Commerce Minister, had himself warned previous Finance Minister C.D. Deshmukh about the dubious activities of Mundhra and had called for tightening of the Companies Act. T.L. Mazumdar, Secretary in Ministry of Finance under Company Law Administration, told the Commission that the government had information about Mundhra's activities from 1954 onwards. Nehru too knew about Mundhra and had warned the Commerce and Finance Ministers about him and asked them to examine what this new star was up to. The Commission recommended several measures to prevent such abuses in the future, including stricter regulatory oversight, greater transparency in government transactions, and accountability for those in positions of power.
सार्वजनिक धन के इस घोर दुरुपयोग के लिए वित्त मंत्री को जिम्मेदार ठहराया जाना चाहिए.
Following the Chagla Commission's report, Krishnamachari submitted his resignation on February 18, 1958 on moral grounds. The Finance Ministry's Principal Secretary H.M. Patel and LIC Chairperson K.R. Kamath also resigned. These high-profile resignations underscored the seriousness of the findings and the government's commitment to addressing the issues. Mundhra was arrested from his luxury hotel suite at the Claridge's in New Delhi. The LIC was overhauled to ensure better regulatory oversight. New policies were implemented to prevent such incidents in the future and the institution's integrity was gradually restored. Nehru was unhappy with Krishnamachari's resignation. He wrote to him saying, "Despite the clear findings of the Commission so far as you are concerned, I am most convinced that your part in this matter was the smallest and that you did not even know what was done." Strangely, a confidential inquiry conducted by Intelligence Bureau Chief P.N. Malik gave a clean chit to Krishnamachari and Nehru reappointed him as Finance Minister in 1962. Ironically, and in another twist, H.M. Patel was appointed as the Finance Minister in the Janata Party government headed by Morarji Desai in 1977. The Mundhra Scandal serves as an important lesson for students of contemporary parliamentary politics. Nowadays, it is unlikely that ruling party MPs would risk asking embarrassing questions of the government or exposing wrongdoings within their own ranks. During Nehru's era, however, the Congress party fostered a culture that allowed its members to freely and fearlessly question the government, a culture that has not been seen since. Firoz Gandhi exemplified the spirit of accountability. The scandal was a wake-up call for a young nation, one that catalyzed reforms and reinforced the importance of ethical governance.